new sci-fi romance film starring Kristen Stewart and Steven Yeun and takes place years into the future. After all of humanity have come and gone, two robots are all that remain of Earth. And using the history of humanity, i.e. the internet, they discover the meanings of life, love, and so much more. I think everything that I both love and hate about independent movies can essentially be summed up in my experience with this film. Because on the one hand, no one really hears about independent movies, and because of that, that often leaves them to fall by the wayside in terms of box office. Especially when compared to more bigger budget films coming out around the same time that may not be as good. But on the other hand, because no one hears about these independent movies, that just allows you to be surprised with every single twist and turn that the film takes. And that was essentially my entire experience with the film Love Me. Basically what I'm trying to say is, this movie is fantastic. It's been a while since I've seen a film as psychologically intelligent and emotionally intelligent as this one. I loved everything about this movie. The first thing that really caught my eye, obviously, are the visuals, which are beautiful in this movie. There are so many times where just the visuals alone capture the idea of how vast the universe is versus how small we make it. In just the opening scene, seeing the creation of the world, that entire idea comes across so well, and that idea is carried on in the visuals throughout the whole film. Which then leads into the last two beings on Earth, Smart Bowie, voiced by Kristen Stewart, and the Helper, voiced by Steven Yeun. Initially, both of these characters just sort of sound and act like stereotypical robots. Not a lot of inflections and just very monotone voices. That doesn't mean that that alone doesn't get across some good comedy, but it gets across the fact that they are not human. They are not like us. But as the film goes on and these two robots start to discover the meanings of humanity through the internet via YouTube and Google, their inflections change more and more and their minds start to wander. They become so much more human as the film goes on, and it's such an interesting way to convey humanity, especially when conveying the idea of legacy in this film and how the internet is how we display our legacy, how we convey to the future or maybe even other civilizations who we were. The film also has a lot of interesting concepts and commentary on relationships, especially in the age of the internet. We constantly see influencers on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok with these seemingly perfect lives and seemingly perfect relationships. And in our minds, we think to ourselves, if we want the perfect life, if we want that perfect relationship, we have to do exactly what they're doing. And the film shows that it's been that way long before even the invention of the internet. And whereas one person in the relationship wants to abide by all of these rules as to how a relationship is supposed to go, the other person might not want to take it in that way. They might want to explore different areas. It's just such an interesting way to convey a relationship through the lenses, most of the time very literally, of two beings that aren't human. And going back to the acting in this film, Stewart and Yeun are the only two actors in this entire movie, and I was never bored for a second. Their evolution from analytical robots to almost emotional humans. It's so believable every step of the way that by the time the film nears its conclusion and they're as human as they've ever come to, I can't lie to you, I cried. And this evolution is not just displayed through the voice acting, but also through the music. The music in this movie is very piano heavy, and while that can be seen as one note, it's kind of meant to in a way. As the film goes on, the piano-centric score becomes so much more complicated, and this transition is done so seamlessly that when you're just watching the film, you don't instantly take note of it. It's so smart and it's so beautifully done, and that's something that I can say about the film as a whole. It is so smart and so beautifully done. Through the use of fantastic cinematography, intricate music, constantly interesting writing, and brilliant performances, this film captures so many complex, paradoxical emotions and does so in a way that is extremely unique that I've never really seen a film do so well. I mean it when I say I love everything about this film. I felt every single step of the journey was so believable, so interesting, and so heartfelt. I implore you, if you haven't seen this movie yet, and you have the ability to see it, do so. Support this film. Support films like this. Like I said before, for my money's worth, this is one of the most surprising and intelligent movies I've seen in a long time, and of course, I'm gonna give Love Me an A+. Trust me, I am just as shocked, if not more so, but that is the honest truth. Watch this movie. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys really are the best. And don't forget to click subscribe and click that bell icon down below to stay up to date on all things movie, all things TV, all things nerd.